Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook and Instagram crashed for the second time in a month this week, while a string of banks, phone networks and fellow tech giants have also experienced major outages recently. Even Britain's biggest supermarket, Tesco, was brought to its knees by a hack of its website and its app, actually, last month as well, leaving thousands of customers unable to order groceries for 48 hours and costing the retailer an estimated £40 million in lost revenue. But, of course, every little helps the hackers, doesn't it? Anyway, there we go. Cheap joke. But what is behind all these website crashes and outages? Well, here to shed some light on this is ethical hacker and cyber awareness trainer at Phalanx Cyber. It's Rob Shapland. Rob, thank you very much for joining us. I've got to ask first up, what's an ethical hacker?
That's a great question. So an ethical hacker is someone that basically simulates what the criminals do. So I try to break into companies and then steal information. So rather than actually being a criminal that's then going to sell that information or encrypt it all and ransom it back to you, I just tell you how you did it. So hopefully when you get targeted by the real criminals, you're okay. So
you get to mimic a criminal. Fantastic. You see, I do it. I walk into a bank and I get nicked. It's just no justice, is there, in the world? But anyway, look, talk to me a bit about why Facebook and this lot keep going down. I mean, it is annoying people in a practical sense, but it's concerning as well. Facebook knows everything about me. Who's getting hold of that?
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, Facebook kind of shot themselves in the foot. They did this to themselves. They basically wiped out some of their own systems that told the internet where they were. So effectively, like, someone had a map and then deleted London off that map, and then you couldn't find it anymore. They kind of did that with themselves on Facebook, so no one on the internet could find Facebook for a while, which obviously cost them millions upon millions of pounds. So they did that to themselves, but there are lots of attacks going at the moment, what we call denial of service attacks, where hackers will, on purpose, try and force companies offline, knowing it will cost them lots of money, but sometimes they use that as a distraction and then they go in the back door and try and steal information from them at the same time.
Right. OK, so how concerned about this should I be, right? You know, Facebook, I think I probably signed up for it when I was about 13 or something, so goodness knows what reams of data and information it's got on me. And will I ever know? Would Mark Zuckerberg ever do me the common courtesy of telling me that all of my personal information is now in the hands of some chap in North Korea?
Well, technically he should do if that was ever stolen from you. To put people's mind at ease a little bit, Facebook is very, very secure. They spend a lot of money on cybersecurity defences, but that doesn't mean that your data on there is completely secure, because you could leave your profile open, someone could go through that and steal your information, your password could be weak. There's lots of ways to get into your account, and hackers use these constantly, all the time. Hackers will be trying to get access to people's personal information so they can use it, and then they can use it against you, so they can pretend to be from Facebook. They can send you a phishing email, you open up the link, and then that steals your password, and then from there they try and steal your personal information. So although I wouldn't be worried too much about Facebook being directly broken into and all those accounts being stolen, it's not impossible. It's more about protecting your own personal accounts, the important thing.
Something I reported on a bit earlier in the week was about Facebook deciding to bin off its facial recognition technology. They said that it was initially just there to help you see if you've been put in a picture without your consent, I suppose. But in reality, I think that was quite concerning for a lot of people. Are they right to do that? How dangerous or otherwise was their facial recognition technology to begin with?
Yeah, I think from a privacy perspective that it was really dangerous, especially where Facebook are legally at the moment with all the other issues they're facing. I think having that facial recognition software, the ability to search by that would be very, very dangerous. So I'm kind of glad from a privacy perspective they did that, and I don't trust personally those sorts of technologies.
Yeah, OK, fair enough. No, let's just move on to Tesco's. But actually, yeah, let's move on to Tesco's. Why not? So apparently it went down for about 48 hours a month or so ago, cost them about an estimated 40 million quid in lost revenue. Is this a similar setup to the Facebook thing? I mean, dare I say it, is there ever retailer on retailer hacking?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Gets them involved. Morrison's go, we fancy a bit of that. I tell you what, put Tesco's out of business for a week and we'll increase.
I mean, that would be a very effective way of making money, wouldn't it, if you never got caught? But yeah, I don't believe that to be so. Generally speaking, those hacks that knock companies offline are done by large criminal organisations. There's lots of different ways of doing it, but generally speaking, they sort of hijack people's home computers or home webcams, things like that, pull them all together like one big supercomputer, and then just point them at one place, and that just blasts it with so much traffic that the thing just falls down. And that's a denial of service attack, and that is one of the things criminals do. And sometimes they even use that to basically ransom the company and say, unless you pay us X amount of money, we'll keep your website offline for the next 3 weeks. So it can be very effective.
OK, well, I'm about to bring my esteemed panel in, but first, look, there's a question that I think, on behalf of the nation and, nay, the world, I just need to ask, in your esteemed opinion, as someone who looks at cyber companies and perhaps the people who run them, is Mark Zuckerberg human, or is he a Bond villain?
I saw the interview with him. He looks like a robot, doesn't he? Like a robot Bond villain. I've never met him, but he didn't come across very well in that, did he? So, yeah.